Hello, my name is Wendy. My student number is S04411057. The speech title is Teach Every Child About Food. The speaker is Jamie Oliver. I'm freshman in NCUE. Sadly, in the next 18 minutes when I do our chat, 4 Americans that are alive will be dead through the food that they eat. My name's Jamie Oliver. I'm 34 years old. I'm from Essex in England, and for the last 7 years, I've worked fairly tirelessly to save lives in my own way. I'm not a doctor. I'm a chef. I don't have expensive equipment or machine. I use information education. I profoundly believe that the power of food has a primal place in our homes that binds us to the best bits of life. We have an awful reality right now. America, you are at the top of your game. This is one of the most unhealthy countries in the world. Can I please just see a rise of hands for how many of you have children in this room today? Put your hands up. You can continue to put your hands up on aunts aunts and uncles as well. Most of you okay. We, the adults of the last 4 generations, have blessed our children with the destiny of a shorter lifespan than their own parents. Your child will live a life 10 years younger than you because of the landscape of food that we will build around them. 2/3 of this room today in America are statistically overweight or obese. You lot, you are alright, but we'll get you eventually, don't worry. Laughter. These statistics of bad health are clear, very clear. We spend our lives being paranoid about death, murder, homicide. You name it, it's on the front page of every paper. CNN. Look at homicide at the button. For God's sake, right? Laughter. Laughter. Applause. Every single one of those in the red is a death-related disease. Any doctor, any specialist will tell you that. Fact. Death-related disease is the biggest killer in the United States right now, here today. This is a global problem. It's a catastrophe. It's sweeping the world. England is right behind you, as usual. Laughter. I know they were close, but not that close. We need a revolution. Mexico, Australia, Germany, India, China all have massive problems of obesity and bad health. Think about smoking. It costs way less than obesity now. Obesity costs you Americans 10% of your health care bills. $150 billion a year. In 10 years, it's set to double. $300 billion a year. Let's be honest, guys. You haven't got that cash. Laughter. I came here to start a food revolution that I so profoundly believe in. We need it. The time is now. We are in a tipping point moment. I've been doing this for 7 years. I've been trying in America for 7 years. Now is the time when it's ripe for the picking. I went to the eye of the storm. I went to Western Virginia, the most unhealthy state in America, or it was last year. We've got a new one this year, but we'll work on that next season. Laughter. Huntington, Western Virginia, beautiful town. I wanted to put heart and soul in people, your public around the statistics that we've become so used to. I want to introduce you to some of the people that I care about, your public, your children. I want to show a picture of my friend Brittany. She's 16 years old. She's got 6 years to live because of the food that she's eaten. She's the third generation of Americans that hasn't grown up within a food environment where they were being taught to cook at home or in school, or her mom or her mom's mom. She had 6 years to live. She's eating her livers to death. Stacy, the Edwards family. This is a normal family, guys. Stacy does her best, but she's third generation as well. She was never taught to cook at home or at school. The family's obese. Justin here, 12 years old. He's 350 pounds. He gets bullied. For God's sake, the daughter here, Katie, she's 4 years old. She's obese before she even gets to primary school. Marissa, she's alright. She's alright. She's one of your lots. But you know that what? Her father, who was obese, died in her arms. And then the second most important man in her life, her uncle, died of obesity, and now her stepdad is obese. You see, the thing is, obesity and diet-related disease doesn't just hurt the people that have it. It's out of their friends, families, brothers, sisters. Pastor Steve said, an inspirational man, one of my early allies in Huntington, Western Virginia. He's at the sharp knife edge of this problem. He has to bury the people, okay? And he is fed up with it. He's fed up with burying his friends, his family, his community. Come winter, 3 times as many people died. He's sick of it. This is preventable disease, waste of life. By the way, this is what they get buried in. We are not geared up to do this. Can even get them out the door. And I'm being serious. Can even get them there. Forklift. Okay, I see it as a triangle, okay? This is our landscape of food. I need you to understand it. You will probably heard all this before. Over the last 30 years, what's happened that's ripped the heart out of this country? Let's be frank and honest. Well, modern day life. Let's start with the Main Street. Fast food has taken over the old country. We know that the big brands are some of the most important powerful powers in this country. Size. Supermarkets as well, big companies. 30 years ago, most of the food was largely local and largely fresh. Now it's largely processed and full of all sorts of additives, extra ingredients, and you know the rest of the street of the story. Portion size is obviously a massive problem. Labeling is a massive problem. The labeling in this country is a disgrace. The industry wants to self-police themselves. What in this kind of climate? They don't deserve it. How can you say something is low fat when it's full of so much sugar? Home. The biggest problem with the home is that used to be the heart of passing on food culture. What made our society? That is not happening anymore. And you know, as we go to work and as life changes, and as life always evolves, we kind of have to look at it holistically. Step back for a moment and readdress the balance. It hasn't happened for 30 years, okay? I want to show you a situation that is very normal right now. The Edwards family. Video. Jamie Oliver said, "Let's have a talk. This stuff goes through you and your family's body every week. And I need you to know that this is going to kill your children early. How are you feeling?" Stacy said, "Just feeling really sad and depressed right now. But I want my kids to succeed in life, and this isn't going to get them there, but I'm killing them." Jamie Oliver said, "Yes, you are, but we can stop that. Norman, let's get on school. Something that I'm fairly much specialist in." "Okay, school. What is school? Who invented it? What's the purpose of school?" "School was always invented to arm us with the tools to make us creative, do wonderful things, make us earn a living, etc., etc. It's been kind of in this sort of tight box for a long time, okay? But we haven't really evolved it to deal with the health catastrophes of America, okay? School food is something that most kids, 31 million a day, actually have twice a day, more than often breakfast and lunch, 180 days of the year. So you could say that school food is quite important, really judging the circumstances. Laughter. Before I crack into my rant, which I'm sure you are waiting for. Laughter. I need to say one thing, and it's so important. Hopefully, the magic that happens and unfolds in the next 3 months. The lunch ladies, the lunch cooks of America. I after myself as their ambassador. Ambassador. I'm not slagging them off. They are doing the best they can do. They are doing their best, but they are doing what they are told, and what they are being told to do is wrong. The system is highly run by accountants. There's not enough or any food knowledgeable people in the business. There's a problem if you are not a food expert and you've got tight budget and it's getting tighter. Then you can be creative. You can duck and dive the right different things around things. If you are an accountant and a box ticker, the only thing you can do in these circumstances is buy cheaper sheet. Now the reality is the food that your kids get every day is fast food. It's highly processed. There's not enough fresh food in there at all. The amount of additives, numbers, ingredients you wouldn't believe. There's not enough veggies at all. French fries are considered a vegetable. Pizza for breakfast. They don't even get crockery. Knives and forks. No, they are too dangerous. They have scissors in the classroom, but knives and forks, no, and they not. And the way I look at it is, if you don't have knives and forks in your school, you are probably endorsing from the state level fast food because it's handheld. And yes, by the way, it is fast food. It's sloppy joes, it's burgers, it's wieners, it's pizzas, it's all of that stuff. Size. 10% of what we spend on healthcare, as I said earlier, is on obesity, and it's going to double. We are not teaching our kids. There's no statutory right to teach kids about food, elementary or secondary school, okay? We don't teach kids about food, right? And this is a little clip from an elementary school which is very common in England. Video. Who knows what this is? Child said potatoes. Jamie Oliver said, potato? So you think these are potatoes? Do you know what that is? Do you know what that is? Child said, broccoli. Jamie Oliver said, what about this? Our good old friend. Child said, celery. Jamie Oliver said, no, what do you think this is? Child said, onion. Jamie Oliver said, onion, no. Immediately, you get a really clear sense of, do the kids know anything about where food comes from? Who knows what that is? Child said, pear. And Jamie Oliver said, what do you think this is? Child said, I don't know. Jamie Oliver said, if the kids don't know what stuff is, then they will never eat it. Laughter. No more. England and America. Guess what fixed it? Fix that. 2 1-hour sessions. We've got to start teaching our kids about food in schools, period. Applause. I want to tell you about something that kind of epitomizes the trouble that we are in. Guys, okay? I want to talk about something so basic as milk. Every kid has the right to milk at school. Your kids will be having milk at school, breakfast and lunch, right? They'll be having 2 bottles, okay? And most kids do. But milk isn't good enough anymore. Don't get me wrong, I support milk, but someone at the milk board probably paid a lot of money for some geezer to work out that if you put lots of flavorings, colorings, and sugar in milk, more kids will drink it, yeah. Obviously now that's going to catch on the Apple board is going to work out that if they make toffee apple stale eat more as well. Do you know what I mean? For me, there isn't any need to flavor the milk, okay? There's sugar in everything. I know the ins and outs of those ingredients. It's in everything. Even the milk hasn't escaped the kind of modern day problems. There's our milk. There's our carton. In that is nearly as much sugar as one of your favorite cans of fizzy pop, and they are having 2 a day. So let me just show you. We've got one kid here, having 8 tablespoons of sugar a day. There's your week, there's your month, and I've taken the liberty of putting in just the 5 years of elementary school sugar, just from milk. Now, I don't know about you guys, but judging the circumstances right, any judge in the whole world will look at the statistics and the evidence, and they would find any government of older guilty of child abuse. That's my belief. Applause. Applause ends. Now, if I came up here, and I wish I could come out here today and hand a cure for AIDS or cancer, you'd be fighting and scrambling to get to me. This All this bad news is preventable. That's the good news. It's very, very preventable. So let's just think about we got a problem here. We need to reboot. Okay, so in my world, what do we need to do? Here is the thing, right? It cannot just come from one source. To reboot and make real tangible change. Real change. So that I could look you in the right of the eyes and say, in 10 years' time, the story of your children's life's happiness, and let's not forget, you are clever if you eat well. You know you are going to live longer. All of that stuff, it will look different, okay? So supermarkets. Where else do you shop so religiously? Week in, week out. How much money do you spend in your life in the supermarket? Love them, they just sell us what we need, what we want. Alright, they owe us to put a food ambassador in every major supermarket. They need to help us shop. They need to show us how to cook quick, tasty, seasonal meals for people that are busy. This is not expensive. It's done in some and it needs to be done across the board in America soon and quick. The big brands, the food brands need to put food education at the heart of their business, I know. Easier said than done, as the future is the only way. Fast food. With the fast food industry, it's very competitive. I've had lots of secret papers and dealings with fast food restaurants. I know how they do it. I mean, basically, they've weaned us onto this heat of sugar, salt and fat, and the X, Y, and Z, and everyone loves them, right? So these guys are going to be part of the solution. But we need to get the government to work with all of the fast food perverse and the restaurant industry, and over a 5, 6, 7 years period, win of us of the extreme amounts of fat, sugar, and all the other non-food ingredients. Now, also back to the sort of big brands. Labeling, I said earlier, is an absolute farce and has got to be sorted. Okay, school. Obviously, in school, we owe it to them to make sure those 180 days of the year, from that little precious age of 4 until 18, 20, 24, whatever, they need to be cooked proper. Fresh food from local growers on site, okay? There needs to be the new standard of fresh, proper food for your children yet. Applause. Under the circumstances, it's profoundly important that every single American child leaves school knowing how to cook 10 recipes that will save their life skills. Applause. That means that they can be students, young parents, and be able to sort of talk and dive around the basics of cooking no matter what recession hits them next time. If you can cook, recessions, money doesn't matter. If you can cook, time doesn't matter. The workplace, we haven't really talked about it. It's now time for corporate responsibility to really look at what they need, feed or make available to their staff. The staff are the moms and dads of America's children. Marissa, her father died in her hand. I think she'd be quite happy if corporate America could start feeding their staff properly. Definitely they shouldn't be left out. Let's go back to the home. Now, look, if we do all this stuff and the weekend is so achievable, you can care and be commercial, absolutely. But the home needs to start passing on cooking again, for sure. Pass it on as philosophy, and for me, it's quite romantic, and it's about if one person teaches three people how to cook something and they teach three of their mates, they only has to repeat itself 25 times, and that's the whole population of America. Romantic, yes, but most importantly, it's about trying to get people to realize that every one of your individual efforts makes a difference. We've got to put back what's been lost. Huntington's, where I made this program. We've got this prime time program that hopefully will inspire people to really get on this change. I truly believe that change will happen. Huntington's Kitchen. I work with the community. I work in the schools. I found local sustainable funding to get every single school in the area from the junk onto the fresh food. 6.5 grand per school. Applause. That's all this takes. 6.5 grand per school. The kitchen is 25 grand a month, okay? This can do 5,000 people a year, which is 10% of their population. And that is people on people. You notice local cooks teaching local people. It's free cooking lessons. Guys, in the main street, this is real, tangible change. Around America, if we just look back now, there is plenty of wonderful things going on. There is plenty of beautiful things going on. There are angels around America doing great things in schools, farm to school stay-ups, garden stay-ups, education. There are amazing people doing this already. The problem is they all want to roll out what they are doing to the next school, but there's no cash. We need to recognize the experts and the angels quickly, identify them, and allow them to easily find the source to keep rolling out what they are already doing, and doing well. Businesses of America need to support Mrs. Obama to do the things that she wants to do. Applause. And look, I know it's weird having an English person standing here before you talking about all this. All I can say is, I care, I'm a father, and I love this country, and I believe truly, actually, that if change can be made in this country, beautiful things will happen around the world. If America does it, other people will follow. It's incredibly important. Yeah. Applause. When I was in Huntington trying to get a few things to work when they weren't, I thought if I had a magic wand, what would I do? And I thought, you know what? I'd just love to be put in front of some of the most amazing movers and shakers in America. And a month later, Ted phoned me up and gave me this award. I am here, so my wish, dyslexic, so I'm a bit slow. My wish is for you to help a strong, sustainable movement to educate every children about food, to inspire families to cook again, and to empower people everywhere to fight obesity. Applause. Thank you. Applause continues.